This is frankly absolutely absurd. Marvel Rivals has a new 100-player social map. 18 versus 18 game mode is also coming to the game. They are also committed to PvE going forward into next year. And of course, a load of new heroes have been teased. We've got Gambit's gameplay footage, and I'm also going to break down his abilities because I do have the ability descriptions for those as well. The amount of content in this new season is actually ridiculous. And you've got to ask yourself, how long can they keep this up? Because like every month, they're adding literally a new season to the game with tons of content. It is bonkers. It's actually bonkers. So let's begin with the trailer itself. Now, this is for the new season, and essentially what we've got here is, well, you can see Cyclops in the bottom right-hand side of the screen. You've got Rogue there on her motorbike, and of course, Gambit is going to be the new hero who is added for this season. We're going to get Rogue, obviously, next, I would imagine, and then potentially Cyclops. There's also Fisk is being teased, although that's on the 100-player map trailer, but we'll go through all of that, don't worry. The content is crazy. There's so much content. I know the allegations for Rivals are like, hey, you've got this massive history of heroes you can pick from, so really they're never going to run out of ideas. But again, they've still got to implement these heroes into the game. They've still got to make them actually playable, and they've got to, create a fun story around them, which they do generally do. You can see all these kind of couple pairings that they had throwing up on the screen there. We've got Emma Frost there, we've got Wolverine, and again, we get to see Cyclops. I think Cyclops is probably going to be one hell of a hero. Cyclops is one of my favorite X-Men, so I can't wait to see that. And then we get this teaser for the story going forward, and we get to see Rogue's kind of, I guess you can say, model, where that's concept art, and then sort of the big bad threat. Okay, so this is Gambit. Now, Gambit is not a DPS hero. He is a support or a strategist, and yeah, this is like completely unexpected, but obviously there's a lot of duelists in the game, so, fair enough. But these are the details, right? I'm going to let this trailer play in the background, but what I'm going to do is read off the abilities, and we can kind of match them together. So, his primary fire is kinetic cards. Launch 3 kinetic charge cards in an arc ahead. Each card detonates on impact, creating a single target explosion that damages enemies and heals allies. His team-up ability is with Magneto. It's called Ace of Aces. Basically gives Magneto his sword back, if you remember that, back from his original team-up that he used to have. Although I think he can throw it now, instead of it just being a melee ability. Anyway, let's move on to Gambit's abilities. So he's just used his ultimate there, so I guess we'll quickly talk about that. Don't worry, we're going to replay this over and over, so you'll get to see it. The ultimate is Ragin Royal Flush. Lock onto an ally within sight and unleash multiple aces that heal and purify, both enter the kinetic transfer state, granting increased movement speed and a jump boost, while enhancing attacks with additional single target explosive damage and providing the ally with ultimate ability charge acceleration. And again, in this clip you will see, I think Punisher runs around with the extra damage as Gambit ults. So we've got Cajun Charge. This is the shift ability. Sidestep forward with bow staff in hand, dashing a short distance. So a nice little movement ability there. Now, the cards, they're a little bit complicated, and we're going to go into detail here. So, Healing Hearts. This is conjure a heart card by consuming 1 stack of Sleight of Hand to heal and switch to the Healing Hearts deck. Breaking Spades. This is conjure a spade card by consuming 1 stack of Sleight of Hand to gain a damage boost and switch to the Breaking Spades deck. Now, we need to talk about Healing Hearts and Breaking Spades. So for Healing Hearts, you get Bridge Boost. While Healing Hearts deck is active, trigger Flush Empowerment to card, spring, and fire a full deck forward. Cards bounce between allies on impact, granting health and a healing boost. And also you get Purifying Pickup. While Healing Hearts deck is active, trigger Raise Empowerment to launch a cluster of cards in an arc ahead. Explosions heal nearby allies and purify them. And then also we've got Breaking Spades. So when this deck is active, you get Explosive Trick. While Breaking Spades deck is active, trigger Flush Empowerment to fire a full set of cards forward. Cards explode on impact, dealing damage while inflicting reduced healing. So there's an anti-heal component there to the damage on Breaking Spades. And you get Bidding Barrage. While Breaking Spade's deck is active, trigger Flush Empowerment to scatter cards in an arc in all directions, explosions, damage enemies, and launch them up. So again, this is that thing of abilities with multiple components to them. This is what Rivals is known for. Also, on your alternate fire, you got the Bayou Bash, which is channel kinetic energy into the bow staff and then slam it into the ground after a sweeping strike, creating a shockwave that damages nearby enemies and heals allies. Follow up Cajun Charge with Big Easy Impact to sprint forward while striking with the bow staff, triggering 3 kinetic explosions along the path. He looks crazy. All right, let's take a look at the Battle Pass. Now, this Namor skin and associated animations and all of that good stuff looks pretty good. I really like when the Kraken comes up. Look at this underneath the ship. That looks pretty good. So yeah, this is the trailer for probably the best items in the Battle Pass, let's say. I don't have access to the game to show you this. I don't think anyone does at the moment. I think that's probably coming in the next couple of days or possibly later on today. I'm not sure. But this is basically the highlights of it, right? So you get to see most of the best skins and their fancy animations and intros. So yeah, I mean, they look pretty good. Rivals always has really well-made cosmetics. I mean, you can't really say anything other than that. Yeah, you can dislike them artistically or whatever, but technically they're pretty good. I mean, they all look really good. I'm sure it's going to do well. It probably always does do well when it comes to these things. But yeah, this is the Battle Pass trailer. So these are probably the best items in the Battle Pass. And potentially there's other cosmetics in this as well. But yeah, pretty good. So keeping it with cosmetics, this is Gambit shop skins that will be available. And all of the associated animations and all that good stuff. I think it looks pretty good. I actually think, though, his standard skin looks really good. So, I don't know. It's probably going to be a bit of a harder sell, this one. But, you know, people like to look unique, don't they? And everyone's going to look like Gambit. And in fact, that's probably going to be what's going to happen, right? Everyone's going to be playing strategist for a change. But I think that's fine. It's all right. Now, this is actually part of like a duo pack. You can see the Magneto Temporal Tyrant there. Look at this. This animation is sick. This is sick. This, to me, is like absolutely sick. Look at that. He also looks really good as well. So this is kind of like a... You could see it was... well, the advertising screen will quickly pop up at the end, but yeah. You'll be able to see it's part of a pack. Or they're available at the same time. Whatever they go on and say, I don't know. I don't really pay attention too much to it, if I'm totally honest. Yeah, it's just when they're available. So they're not in a pack. They're just available on that date. So that's fine. So this is where things are starting to get a bit... let's say they're pushing the envelope here. Because for a long time, this game was trying to catch up with Overwatch in terms of what it's got in the game feature-wise. There are a whole host of things being added to the game this season, which we'll go over in a second, but are basically fast catching up to what Overwatch have got. This, though, a fully fledged map that can host 100 players. Like, this could be horrific for performance, or... what I suspect they're going to do is use this to try and optimize the game for this number of players. And it's a social hub. It's somewhere to show off your cosmetics, you know, to talk with players. Maybe you don't always want to play Marvel Rivals. You just want to chill. You don't have to do this in custom games anymore. There's a lot going on here in this trailer. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this trailer again. And what I want you to do is kind of look for... you can see little Easter eggs, right? So there's like, you'll see Fisk on the banners. He's the mayor of New York now. Maybe he's going to be a hero in the future. Obviously, he could be. You know, Daredevil doesn't particularly like him, but he could definitely be a hero in the future. You've got things like the screens, which seem to integrate actual video footage. So they could show trailers from new Disney Marvel shows. Maybe they could even have maybe Fortnite-style events where they play a whole movie inside the game. You know, things like this are obviously possible, and it's pushing the envelope forward. It's leaning into the more social aspect of these games, whereas I think games like Overwatch do suffer from this. There's no hub, there's no community spot, and there is now in Marvel Rivals, and that to me is yeah, it's a really big change. I think this is probably... I'm going to say I think this is probably one of the bigger updates this season, because it's showing you that they're willing to try a lot of different things, and I do think this is going to be pretty strong for the game going forward. All right, in terms of everything else which is coming to the game, now I did kind of touch on the fact that they're sort of fast following Overwatch, so you've got them bringing things which are in Overwatch very slowly and very surely to Marvel Rivals to make the game better. So notably, they are bringing in placement games for competitive. Now, again, they do give a very brief description how this will work. Essentially, it looks at your previous ranks from previous seasons and says, okay, you've got 10 games to play. If you win all 10, you'll have a higher rank than what your previous rank was. If you lose them all, then obviously you'll place lower. And if you win, lose, you'll probably place about the same, and off you go. Placement games are needed in competitive because this crazy jumble of everyone just getting smashed down in ranks, it's never good. So they did need to bring that in. Again, it's going to be, how do they implement this? And, you know, will it make an impact? And will it, I don't know, be as effective as the Overwatch one? But I will say this, and I don't mean this as any slight to Rivals players. I play Rivals myself. I play Overwatch. I play other games. Rivals is very much like the casual hero shooter. So I actually don't, like, I'm not really too bothered as such for them going after, like, upgrading competitive. Like, in my eyes, it's kind of controversial to say this, but it's almost, it doesn't matter. This is why I think things like the 18 versus 18 game mode, which they have spoken about, I think that makes perfect sense, because it's like, yeah, let's just have a crazy mode where there's 18 players against each other. Performance is probably going to be terrible. Who knows, right? But it's a mad mode. This is a mode where you're going to feel powerful, probably. Who knows what's going to be in the mode itself? But I think that is, again, a way of selling the power fantasy of your heroes, which I think is definitely what they're trying to do. Instead of create this ultra fine-tuned, balanced gameplay where, you know, we've got all of these buffs and nerfs and everything else coming together. Now, there is going to be a whole host of buffs and nerfs as well. I won't go over them in this video. I'm not sure if the details have come out yet for them. But again, this just, it goes, you know, with a hero shooter, right? There's going to be buffs and nerfs. Some heroes are powerful, some heroes aren't, some need nerfing, some need buffing, yada, yada, yada. There's also like a bunch of different team-ups coming to the game as well, and some of the older team-ups have been changed. Again, like, I don't have too much to show you because I don't have access to the game, and they've done quite a few different things this time with the way that they've announced this new season, which is what I want to end this video on because I think it's really interesting. So you will notice that they are now putting their news out on a Monday. So they're saying, like, here's a season trailer, and then on the Tuesday they're absolutely uploading that much stuff that they are flooding social feeds, right, with other updates. Now, there's another game out there that always does an update on a Tuesday. You know what game this is? I don't even need to mention it. It's Overwatch. They do it, right? So I think this is a very blatant marketing tactic to just drown them out and say, no, we've got that much stuff coming out. And we know every Monday and Tuesday of the first Monday and Tuesday, I should say, of the new month is going to be like this. There's going to be so much stuff being spammed out. It's kind of cheeky and clever, but hey, that's competition. I think it's pretty cool. So yeah, this season looks crazy, right? This looks mental. I really like these new features they're adding to the game. I want you to let me know in the comments below what you think about all of this, because I do think this is funky, and I actually really like that Gambit is a strategist, and definitely we're going to see Rogue at some point. It'd be nice if Rogue was a tank though. Maybe she will be. Who knows? All right, guys, thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed that, then do like the video, subscribe to the channel. I've been Stylosa, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. See you soon.